All right, so today we're diving into something that's been reshaping Thailand, specifically their property market. We've been seeing this wave of Chinese investment, and it's making a pretty big splash.
Right.
And we're going to unpack all this from this really interesting blog post we found that takes a closer look at how this is all playing out, especially for the folks who already live there.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot more than just looking at the money coming in. We're talking about like a whole shift is happening. And, with any big change, there's going to be, well, some people are going to be really excited about it, but of course others, well, they might have some worries too. And that's totally understandable, right? So we're going to try to make sense of it all. What's driving this? What could it mean down the road? All of that.
And speaking of Thailand, before we get too far, I want to make sure we're all on the same page about a place you probably heard of, Phuket. And that's Phu, as in pool, Kit, as in kettle. Phuket, not Phuket. It's one of those places that's easy to mispronounce, but, hey, we're all about getting the details right?
Right.
Now, even though the blog post looks at these big trends all over Thailand, it actually comes from a company called Ocean Worldwide. They're a luxury real estate agency that's been based in Phuket since, get this, 2004.
Wow.
Yeah. So, they really know their stuff. The director, Sandra O'Neill, she's helped thousands of families and investors find properties in Phuket and also in Koh Samui, that other beautiful island.
Ah, yeah.
So while we're talking about the whole country, it's cool to have this really grounded perspective from folks who are right there, in the thick of it, especially in that luxury market.
Yeah, definitely. Getting that local view from a company like Ocean Worldwide, especially one that's been around for so long, it really helps to put all this data into real world terms. We're not just talking about numbers here. It's about people's lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the numbers a bit, though, because this surge in investment is pretty significant. We're talking about Chinese investment in Thai real estate,
Yeah.
particularly in big cities like Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Pattaya, all the spots people love. Property DNA, they're a real estate consultancy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they estimated that over the last 15 years, Chinese investment has gone way beyond 100 billion baht. That's a huge amount of money flowing in.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that we might see even more investment soon. See, the Thai government, they're thinking about changing some property laws. Like, they're talking about extending leaseholds for foreigners to 99 years. Right now, it's more common to see 30-year leases, especially for people from other countries.
Oh, I see.
So this change would basically give people the right to use the property for way longer. And then there's this other possible change. They might let foreigners own up to 75% of condominiums. So, it's pretty clear they're trying to attract even more international investors, especially from China.
Makes sense. Especially when you look at the property prices,
Yeah.
right? Like the blog post pointed out, you can get a place in Chiang Mai for, say, $80,000 to $180,000. But a similar place in Beijing, forget it. You're looking at over $740,000. Easy.
Easy. Yeah.
And, in China, they have these pretty strict rules about moving money out of the country. Plus, a lot of folks there want to put their money into something solid, something they can see and touch, like real estate. Yeah, places like Thailand, it's a pretty attractive option.
Absolutely. It's like a perfect storm. You got the economic factors, the desire for stability. It all kind of lines up.
Totally. But it's not all sunshine and roses, right? The blog post talks about some real worries in places like Chiang Mai. People are concerned about their culture being, kind of eroded. Like when your neighborhood starts changing so much that it doesn't feel quite the same anymore. Like seeing more signs in a language you don't understand, it can be, unsettling for some people.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance. You want the economic benefits, but you also want to hold on to what makes your community unique, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the issue of people being priced out. When these foreign investors come in and drive up the cost of housing, it makes it harder for people who have lived there for a long time to afford to stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
There have even been reports of Chinese investors coming in and buying up property at prices that local developers can't even compete with. It's a whole different ballgame.
It really is reshaping the market. And like the blog post highlighted, it's not just a few investors here and there. Chinese buyers are now the main group buying up property from overseas, even more than Europeans or Americans who used to be the big players.
Right. It just goes to show you how, the whole flow of money is changing globally. It used to be one way, and now it's shifting.
Totally.
And the blog post also gets into, some of the more complicated legal stuff around all of this. Like, did you know that some Chinese investors use Thai nominees to get around those foreign ownership laws we talked about?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so basically you've got a Thai person who holds the property title, but they're doing it on behalf of the foreign investor. I mean, it creates a whole bunch of legal headaches, for everyone involved. It's risky, and it can make things messy.
Makes sense that people are calling for stricter rules then, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. People want to protect their local economy and their culture. The article actually mentioned a survey where a lot of locals said they want the government to do more to regulate foreign investment, especially in real estate. It's a sensitive issue for sure.
Definitely. So we've covered a lot, but just to sum it all up, it seems like we're seeing this wave of Chinese investment in Thailand, fueled by economic reasons and probably going to get bigger because of those possible law changes. And while that brings opportunities, it's also causing some tension in local communities, especially worries about culture and whether people can still afford to live there.
Exactly. It's like a two-sided coin. You've got the economic upside, but then the potential downsides for the people who call these places home.
Right. And I think that's a question that a lot of people can relate to, even if you're not in Thailand. I mean, think about your own community, your own line of work. What happens when a bunch of money suddenly comes pouring in from outside? What are the good things that could happen, and what are the things we need to be cautious about?
It's a big question, and I don't think there's an easy answer.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But, in a world that's so connected, it's a question we all have to grapple with. How do we balance this desire for economic growth with the need to protect the things that make our communities special and, make sure everyone benefits, not just a select few? It's a tough one and something worth thinking about.
Absolutely. There's a lot at stake.
It really is a balancing act, and it's happening all over the world.
Definitely something to keep in mind.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. Until next time.
See you next time.